Good afternoon actually. It's Saturday, it's rained Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, so we have got no work done during those rainy days. And today is a absolutely beautiful day, and then it's going to rain again tomorrow and then all next week. So I'm taking the opportunity to try and get a bit of block laying done today. So, good afternoon, how are you doing? We are going to be making a start on getting our internal block wall up. I will flip you around and I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. So it's this wall here, this internal block wall here, that we are going to be putting up. So we'll get this corner and this elevation kind of up, and then we'll get that corner up over here, this corner up down here, and then we can run a string line and get our blocks up. So we have got a rather unusual sized step here. So what I've done is we've measured it and we've determined that if we put one of these down and one of these on top with a thin bed, then that will equal this slab exactly, or the level of this slab exactly, and then I can run my blocks straight across. We are going to have to probably cut some blocks for along here, but that's fine because there'll only be like 5 or 6 cuts for that, whereas for that there's going to be at least 12. So I'm happy to cut those to the height. We've got to get a mix on, and I'll set up a time lapse and you can watch some block laying. Right, so we've got this section in here and we've come to this separate slab, which is where the utility originally was. We've got a 20mm gap there, which ain't too bad. 20mm joint, it can hold as long as the mortar is mixed right. However, this floor slopes down. So back here, we've got at least a 40-45mm mortar joint to make up, which we ain't going to be able to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some slate down, because slate is highly compressible and it's perfect for kind of joint filling when you've got a floor which is not level. So we don't have any slate at the moment. It's all at the lock-up. The lock-up is about 20 miles away because I'm working about 20 miles away from home. So we are going to finish this section off on Monday. That way I can bring in some slate, get some slate down, and then I can carry on with my wall. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go and we're going to run this corner in and see where this gets us. We'll need to put a wall starter in there, which I'm going to do in a bit. But for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these last 3 cuts done. I'll get them down, I'll get this corner built up here, and then I'll get the wall plate on. I'll run this lot in, and that should be it then. The afternoon will be over, it'll be time to go home, and we will be back on Monday. So I will continue the time lapse for this section here that I've just said we're going to do. Okay, a couple of points. For any of you that watched my last video, which was also a Bronze Grove job similar to this one, you remember that someone dropped and broke my tape measure, and we had a funeral. I buried it. I've started seeing another tape measure now, so Wolferters brick, mate, it is. So if you have a look here, you'll see that not only has it got metric, there you go, you can see, but it's got brick courses, it's got brick lengths, and it's got block lengths as well as block heights as well. So I have got a new tape measure. Now I know what a lot of brickies who may watch this are going to be screaming at me saying, sacrilege, you should be using metric, you should be doing arithmetic. This just makes things easier. I can do maths, I've got an A level in maths, but I find that this tape measure makes my life a lot easier. So another thing that I want to talk to you about is, because of the Part L changes, which state now that you need to have 150mm cavity for 150mm insulation, unfortunately the rules have changed, but none of the industry has actually had a chance to keep up. So none of my wall ties actually fit. So the reason that I'm not tying my block wall with wall ties is because I'm going to use these things. They're called framing clamps. These are 200mm long, so they will screw to my block wall, they'll cross the 150mm cavity and will sit on top of my brick. So I'm using them, which is why I'm not actually using any kind of wire which we would ordinarily use in a 100mm cavity. So let's get on with some block laying. Good morning. It is Monday. As you know, I was here on Saturday and two things happened. Number one, we ran out of battery for the camera, and number two, it started raining again. So we had to pack up, and it stopped raining about an hour ago. It's now, what, 8:30, and we're going to crack on and see how much we can get done today, as it's supposed to be starting to rain again this afternoon. And tomorrow's meant to be a bit rainy, Wednesday's meant to be fine. So let's flip you around and show what I'm going to do today, and we will get some time lapses on the go. So if you remember, we've got quite a significant drop from here over to that side of the slab there. So we have got some slate. We're going to put some slate down with some mortar, and then we'll put our blocks on top of a slate. The reason we've chosen slate is because of its compressibility. It is highly compressible without breaking, so it makes for perfect kind of seat for the blocks to go onto when we've got a big gap. We can't really cut the blocks to the size because we're going to be cutting almost that much, and these will just crack or break under the weight of the blocks. So we're going to be using slate to bring us up to our level, and then we will just bash our wall in. So we're going to be doing that. Sick note is back.
Very good.
And Matt is just chipping out the bricks for the toothing in for the front elevation of the brickwork, and then we've got this lot here to do as well. So we'll get a wall starter up there, and we'll get the block work around. We've got a patio door, so French doors going here, so we'll get the cheeks of the French doors and block work built up, and we'll see how much of that we can get done today. So Isaac is just finishing screeding this little chasing. This is where our soil pipe for our toilet is. So he's used a sharp sand and cement screed for that. It has started raining, I don't know if you can see, but it's raining again. So we are going to break for lunch. Matt's done quite well getting all this lot toothed out. Same with that there. We've managed to get a bit of block walling up. We've got the corner up there. So, and because we've had to put it onto some slate, what's happened is it's leaning a bit. So as the mortar dries, we'll just put a piece of timber along the wall, and that way we are able to make sure that our wall remains where it is just as the mortar dries. Anyway, lunchtime. Look at the state of this. There's nothing like halting your bricklaying like this. 30 minutes later, it's still chucking it down. So, typical garage conversion problem. We have got our line here, and then if we fly across over to that side, we've got our line there. But as you can see, that brick is pointing down. So, we have got a 15mm difference between this side and that side, which means we're going to have a bigger joint on here. Now the joints under there have been pretty uneven, whereas when you get to here they start to even out a little bit and they become a regular size. So what we're going to have to do is, this is our damp level here, our damp is in this course here, this is our damp level here. What we're going to have to do is we're just going to have a rather big joint, what we call a Sunday joint there where our damp course is, and then hopefully by this course here we can make up and we can finally get our nice straight line. But at the moment this is sloping downwards, but there's not really we can do about that. We're just going to have to work with what we've got. So we've got two pretty standard joints here, but again if we go down here and have a look, what we've hit here is the neighbour's damp course. You can see the damp just in there, right there, and as you can see that is a big old joint. Now I didn't really want to match that joint, so what I've done is I've dropped my brick ever so slightly down, and then I'm going to make up over the next two courses, and then we shall be level here, which will be level on here. So we shall then be nice and level throughout the entire thing, and we'll have no more uneven joints that we have to try and make up in this wall. I mean, once it's pointed it will look obviously much neater, but yeah, problems of garage conversions, especially when you've got to join into a neighbour's house.